Hello students, Jai Swaminarayan. Till now we have discussed about meaning of gravitation, universal law of gravitation, difference between mass and weight. Now we are going to learn more quantitatively about the effect of force. Have you ever thought how a camel runs in a desert more easily than a human being, although the weight of camel is greater than a human being? Why is it easier to cut an apple with a sharp knife as compared to a blunt knife? Why are the tires of trucks made wider than the tires of a bicycle or a car? We shall try to find the answers of these questions in the topic thrust and pressure. We know that the force exerted by a body when it is placed on the surface of another body is equal to its weight. For example, when a book is placed on the horizontal surface of a table, then the book exerts a force equal to its weight on the table. Direction of weight is perpendicularly downwards. If we want to pierce a drawing pin into the notice board, then we have to apply force on drawing pin perpendicular to the board. We notice that the force in both the cases is applied perpendicularly. This perpendicular force is called thrust. Thrust is defined as the total force exerted by a body perpendicular to another surface. As it is force, SI unit of thrust is Newton. Thrust is equal to total perpendicular force on a surface. It is difficult to hold a school bag having thin straps as compared to a bag with broader straps. Similarly, if we push our thumb on a piece of wood, the thumb does not go into the wood. But if we push a drawing pin into the wood with the same force using our thumb, the drawing pin goes into the wood. It means that along with magnitude of force, the effect of force also depends on the area of contact between the two bodies. In case of the drawing pin, the area of contact with wood is much smaller than the area of contact of our thumb with the wood. Hence, the effect of force is larger in case of drawing pin than in case of our thumb. From this, we can conclude that the effects of forces of the same magnitude on different areas are different. Thus, the effect of a force depends on the area in contact with the body on which it acts. This gives the concept of pressure. Pressure is defined as the perpendicular force, that is thrust, acting per unit area of the surface. That is, pressure is equal to thrust upon area. From this relation, we can conclude that pressure on a body is directly proportional to the force. We know that the meaning of directly proportional. If force increases, then pressure will also increase, keeping area of contact constant and vice versa. Even pressure on a body is inversely proportional to the area of contact. If area of contact decreases, then pressure will increase, keeping the thrust constant and vice versa. Now pressure is equal to thrust upon area. So what will be the unit of pressure? Unit of pressure is equal to Newton per meter square. Newton per meter square is also known as Pascal, which is a specific name given in honor of the scientist Blaise Pascal. Pressure is said to be 1 Pascal when a thrust of 1 Newton is applied on a surface area of 1 meter square. Let us see the practical applications of pressure. Tip of a needle is made sharp or pointed so as to make area of contact very small to exert a large pressure on the surface of the cloth. It will help the person to stitch the cloth properly with less effort. It is easier to cut with a sharp knife than with a blunt knife, as sharp knife has very small area of contact and hence exerts large pressure on objects. School bags are provided with wide straps, as by broadening the straps, the load of the school bag is distributed over a large area on the shoulders. This reduces the pressure on shoulders and it becomes comfortable to carry the bag. A camel can walk easily on sand as compared to human beings. The tires of a truck are made wider than the tires of a bicycle. Foundations of high-rise buildings or a dam are made wider. Yes, children, hope that you have understood the concept of thrust and pressure. Now let us extend our topic to pressure in fluids. Water is a liquid. When we pour some water on a table, it flows. Air is a mixture of gases. Air flows from one place to another. The substances which can flow easily are called fluids. All the liquids and gases are fluids. Water and air are the most common fluids. We have already studied that solids exert pressure on a surface due to their weight. Fluids also have weight. So, fluids, that is liquids and gases, also exert pressure on the container in which they are enclosed. A fluid exerts pressure in all directions, even upwards. We will now discuss buoyancy, which is a property exhibited by fluids. When an object is placed in a liquid, the liquid exerts an upward force on it. For example, when a piece of cork is held below the surface of water by applying the force of our thumb and then released, the cork immediately rises to the surface. It appears as if some upward force is exerted by water on the cork, which pushes it to the surface. If we lift a stone lying at the bottom of the pond, it appears to be light as long as it is being lifted inside water. But as soon as the stone is lifted out of water into air, the same stone feels to be much heavier. This means that some upward force acts on the stone when it is immersed in water and makes it feel lighter. In general, whenever an object is immersed in water or any other liquid, it appears to lose some weight and feels lighter. It is because every liquid exerts an upward force on the objects immersed in it. The tendency of liquid to exert an upward force on an object placed in it is called buoyancy. Let us discuss about buoyant force. What is buoyant force? Let's understand the meaning of the term buoyant force by doing simple experiment. take a bucket full of water. Try to push an inverted glass bottle into the bucket. What do you experience? When we try to push an inverted glass bottle into a bucket full of water, we have to apply downward force. It means bottle experiencing upward force. The upward force is due to force exerted by water on the bottle containing the enclosed air, opposing the downward motion of the bottle. Now take an empty plastic bottle closed with an airtight stopper. Put it in the bucket full of water. What happens? When an empty plastic bottle closed with an airtight stopper is put in a bucket full of water, it floats in water. Now try to push the bottle into the water. Is it possible to push it easily to the bottom of the bucket? Why? It is not easy to push the bottle to the bottom of the bucket. This is because an upward force exerted by the water on the bottle opposes the downward motion of the bottle. Now release the bottle. If the bottle is now released, it rises to the surface of water and floats on it. In above examples, the upward force experienced by an object immersed in any liquid is called the upthrust or buoyant force. This force acts opposite to the force of gravity. Have you ever drawn water from a well? You must have noticed that the bucket of water appears lighter under water but heavier as it comes out of water. The submerged object appears to lose weight in liquid due to upthrust or buoyant force. The property of liquid to exert an upward force on an object immersed in it is called buoyancy. The buoyant force acting on an object depends on volume of object. That is, the buoyant force is greater if volume of object submerged in liquid is larger. Also, it depends on density of liquid. The buoyant force is greater if density of liquid is greater. Children, hope that you have understood the topics covered today, that is thrust, pressure and its application, buoyancy and buoyant force. Thank you. Jai Swaminarayan.